Christian or you are a conservative, Stephanie White said you are not welcome to watch this team any longer. I got to tell you, this is the worst look the Indiana Fever have had since Caitlin Clark arrived.
What happens when the head coach of one of the hottest teams in women's basketball appears to tell a huge portion of the fan base they're no longer welcome? That's exactly the controversy that's exploding right now. The head coach of the Indiana Fever didn't make the comment in a private conversation or in a leaked message. It was said publicly, on the record, for everyone to hear, including the paying fans who spent the past year helping transform this franchise into one of the biggest stories in sports. Those same supporters played a major role in building the league's new financial momentum. Now, the backlash is spreading fast, and the consequences are already turning into something much bigger than anyone expected.
I did a video on the Matrix and Rose show yesterday. That boycott, that game had 1 million less views. 1 million less viewers than the very last CBS game before it. The game that people said, oh, well, I don't think fans are really going to tune out. Yeah, compared to the previous game, 980,000 fans decided not to watch. A boycott can be done.
And this isn't just empty talk or online outrage. The numbers tell a very different story. The Matrix and Rose show boycott delivered a measurable impact, with nearly 980,000 fewer viewers tuning in compared to the previous CBS broadcast. That's not a small fluctuation or a statistical coincidence. That's close to 1 million people deciding their attention mattered and choosing to spend it somewhere else. For more than 20 years, the WNBA has worked tirelessly to attract mainstream audiences. Yet just as the league finally reached that milestone, one coach made comments that many fans interpreted as a message telling nearly half of that new audience they weren't wanted.
You are a business, the Indiana Fever, and your coach gave the middle finger to millions of new viewers and fans and merchandise buyers, etc., etc. And here's my issue. A lot of people will say, well, trade her out of Indianapolis. It's going to be this way with every damn team in this league. It's the league. The league.
That statement from Stephanie White came just yesterday, and within only a few hours, the Indiana Fever's social media pages turned into a full-scale battlefield. The reactions weren't coming from bots or anonymous internet trolls. They came from real fans sharing photos of their Caitlin Clark jerseys, ticket stubs, hotel receipts, and memories from road trips they made to Indianapolis just to support the team. These were people who invested real money and genuine passion into the Fever, only to feel as though the coach had told them their personal values disqualified them from being true fans. The business impact of this situation could be enormous. For the first time in franchise history, the Fever sold out games throughout the season. Restaurants and businesses around Gainbridge Fieldhouse experienced major boosts in revenue on game nights that hadn't been seen in years. One player brought an entirely new audience that energized not only the team but the surrounding community as well. Now, many critics believe Stephanie White has completely alienated that audience, and she did it at the very moment 3 of her players were being honored as All-Stars.
Watch. But yeah, right there, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell have all made the team as All-Stars right here. Let's see this little video that the Fever put up.
Caitlin Clark!
Boston.
Kelsey Mitchell!
This is how you bring the roof down.
Oh, sidestep Clark. Set! Clark with the ball on a string.
Like a globetrotter
From another stratus!
Just when it looked like the Indiana Fever had every reason to celebrate, the moment took an unexpected turn. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston were all selected as starters for the 2025 All-Star Game, a milestone that should have been a proud victory for the organization and its fans. Instead of becoming a feel-good headline, the announcement has been overshadowed by a growing public relations controversy that many believe the Fever created for themselves. And perhaps the most noticeable part of all this is what's missing. The front office has remained completely silent. There has been no official statement, no attempt to clarify the situation, and no visible effort to calm the backlash. Team owner Herb Simon hasn't spoken publicly either. Meanwhile, the Fever's official social media accounts continue posting highlight reels and promotional content as if nothing happened at all, while the comment sections underneath those posts have erupted with criticism from frustrated fans.
Wait for the day Cece is playing somewhere else. Only Stephanie White could turn a team with 3 All-Stars into a 7th seed. Fire that pathetic coach Stephanie White. How the F is she still defending Alyssa Thomas? Wow. Don't promote our girl, Cece, if she's not going to get to play. In other words, protect her better. Fire Stephanie White. Man, I can't wait to see what this looks like in another 12 hours. In another 12 hours, because it is going to be ugly. Ugly.
Take one look at those replies, and the frustration is impossible to ignore. The phrase, "Fire Stephanie White," isn't appearing on just a handful of posts. It's showing up beneath virtually every single one. Fans continue tagging the original rant and bringing it back into the conversation over and over again. Many are also pointing to Alyssa Thomas, the Connecticut Sun player who has been involved in several physical on-court incidents with Caitlin Clark. After one of those moments, Stephanie White publicly defended Thomas. Yet many fans argue that she has never shown that same level of public support or passion when it comes to defending her own biggest star. And this is where the conversation grows even larger than one coach or one controversy. To many people, this isn't simply about politics anymore. It's about recognizing what they believe is a repeated pattern. Critics argue that the WNBA has a Caitlin Clark problem, not because of her popularity, but because the league doesn't seem to know how to respond to the unprecedented success she has brought. Clark is straight, she's white, she came from Iowa, and she introduced an audience unlike anything the league had attracted before. Many of those new viewers come from more conservative, Midwestern, and Christian backgrounds than the WNBA's traditional fan base. Instead of embracing that expansion and welcoming new supporters into a bigger community, critics believe parts of the league's existing culture have treated those fans as outsiders rather than additions to the sport.
It is a massacre. After what Stephanie White said yesterday, it is ugly. And you know what? Stephanie White has allowed her own social and political beliefs to officially interfere with her professional job. I have a vote of no confidence. It's over. It's over. And it's going to be interesting to see how fans react. Are fans going to tune out of these games? Keep in mind, they told a massive portion of the new fan base, you're not welcome to watch.
Remember that hardware store promotion being discussed earlier? It's now being used as another example by critics who believe the Fever are trying to repair declining enthusiasm. The organization has begun offering free merchandise as part of ticket promotions in an effort to boost attendance. Think about how dramatically things have changed. Just 1 year ago, getting a ticket to a Fever game often meant paying premium prices because demand was so high. Now the team is giving away free gear to encourage people to show up. Supporters making this argument insist that this isn't simply a coincidence. They believe it's the natural result of alienating the very audience that helped create the surge in demand in the first place. They also point out that the boycott threats being discussed online aren't just empty words. According to them, there are already measurable examples. They reference the Matrix and Rose show, which reportedly experienced a significant drop in viewership after fans organized a boycott over what they viewed as disrespect toward Caitlin Clark. Whether people agree with that interpretation or not, they argue it demonstrates that audience reactions can have real consequences. They also point to something much bigger. The WNBA's long-term media rights agreements, the deals many believe are central to the league's financial future, were built on expectations that Caitlin Clark's massive audience would continue tuning in. Their argument is simple. If that audience begins walking away, then many of the optimistic projections tied to those agreements could quickly begin to unravel.
Yeah, Christine Brennan yesterday on the Dan Dockett show, a really good interview by Dan Dockett. I'm going to keep it real. A really good interview with Christine Brennan, and she said she believes this is the definitive picture of the NBA, the WNBA right now. Really talk about tone deaf. The problem you have with the online community is because you haven't done anything about the situation. For F's sakes. Need to fire your shit coach.
Then there's the bigger financial picture. The new collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, that brought WNBA players significantly higher salaries, improved travel conditions, and many of the benefits players had spent years fighting to receive didn't happen in a vacuum. Critics argue that much of that became possible because of the revenue Caitlin Clark generated. The massive media rights agreements with ESPN, NBC, and Amazon, worth billions over the coming decade, came together because television executives saw the ratings Clark was producing and finally believed women's basketball was worth making a major investment in. From that perspective, the very fans Stephanie White criticized are the same fans helping create the largest paydays players have ever seen in league history. And now, according to these critics, the league's response is to tell those supporters that their values don't belong in women's basketball. That supporting Caitlin Clark somehow means accepting the possibility of being labeled a bigot simply for criticizing what happens to her during games. To many people, that's an impossible position to put fans in, and they believe it's one that ultimately pushes people toward the exit.
We're sick and tired of jealous, racist lesbians assaulting Caitlin Clark. She's not going to do that. It's part of Stephanie White's core political and social mindset. She cannot do it. She cannot put her own feelings and her own lifestyle to the side to do her job. I got to tell you, if I would have been Herb Simon, I would have heard that rant, and within 30 minutes, Stephanie White would have been relieved of her duties.
And that's another point many people have started bringing up. Christie Sides, the coach the Fever dismissed before hiring Stephanie White, likely never would have handled the situation this way. Sides certainly had her own shortcomings. People criticized the stagnant offense. They questioned her rotations and game management. But she never publicly attacked the fan base. She never made supporters feel unwelcome because of their personal beliefs. She seemed to understand that her responsibility was to coach basketball, manage the roster, and focus on winning games, not to serve as the referee of fans' political or ideological views. What's remarkable now is that many people are suddenly looking back on the Christie Sides era with a sense of nostalgia, and that alone speaks volumes about how badly critics believe Stephanie White has mishandled this entire situation. When fans start saying, "Bring back the coach we were demanding be fired just a few months ago," it's usually a sign that you've completely lost the locker room, the fan base, and the confidence of the people around you.
Woo! Fever coach needs to get her heads out of her ass. She's a racist, homophobic bee that needs to be fired. I don't know about homophobic, but the only marginalized community of the WNBA doesn't elevate straight white women. Yeah, I mean, look, Ben Daniel pointed out yesterday that Caitlin Clark is the marginalized in this league. He's right. She's straight and she's white. I don't know what we're going to do if Caitlin Clark actually comes out and defends Alyssa Thomas, because some people are expecting...
Now everything comes down to one question, and the Indiana Fever may have only the next 72 hours to answer it. Can they recover from this? Can they reverse the damage? Or has the situation already gone too far? Because the next chapter is already unfolding. The Fever have promotional events on the schedule. Season ticket renewals are approaching. Corporate sponsors are now watching their brand become part of a controversy spreading across virtually every social media platform. Those companies didn't invest their money expecting to be connected with a coach telling a large portion of Indiana that they're not welcome. They partnered with the Fever because of Caitlin Clark, the most marketable player in women's basketball. And if this controversy continues to grow, those sponsors may begin asking difficult questions about whether their investment is still being spent wisely. At the same time, the WNBA faces a major decision of its own. Is the league really prepared to let one coach jeopardize the entire economic momentum created by Caitlin Clark? Because that's what's being debated, not just Indiana Fever ticket sales, but the long-term growth of the league itself. If Clark's audience walks away, then many of the projections used to justify the new media rights agreements become much harder to sustain. The television ratings that convinced networks to commit billions could disappear, and the league could find itself returning to the position it occupied for years, a niche product that struggled financially and relied on NBA support to stay afloat. Critics argue that Stephanie White put all of that at risk because she failed to separate her political views from her professional responsibilities. They also believe the Fever's front office has allowed the situation to continue unchecked. To them, that's organizational malpractice. It's a failure of leadership from top to bottom. And unless someone with real authority, whether it's Herb Simon, the league office, or another decision-maker, steps in and takes action, many believe the controversy will only continue to escalate. The fans making these complaints aren't seen as bluffing. They've already shown they're willing to stop watching. They've already demonstrated that even loyalty has its limits. And many believe Stephanie White has pushed those limits further than ever before. So now the question becomes this: does the Indiana Fever value its business enough to respond, or is it prepared to let ideology undermine everything Caitlin Clark has helped build? What do you think? Are you still watching Fever games after everything that's happened, or does this cross the line for you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, hit the like button if you believe this should have been a fireable offense, and subscribe, because this story is far from finished, and there's still much more to come.